Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors' heartbreaking 102-98 loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Riker, Luka Doncic does it again. Obviously, he's a remarkable talent and balled out, but the Raptors, they had their chances in this one. A common theme for this team, the shots haven't been going down as of late, and then big stars on the other teams have been ripping out our hearts, especially down the stretch. What are your initial reactions to this game here? Because this has been a common theme over the past few ones we've had.
Yeah. You'd like to win the close ones. At least we're having close ones now, and we're not getting blown out quite as often. And same concerns, playing tight six-man rotation. At some point, do you think it's going to catch up with people in terms of fatigue or perhaps even injuries? Knock on wood. Closing this game was a little bit brutal. We'll get into that in the OGs section because better plays could have been called or drawn up or executed. All of the above is the correct answer to that. But Ben, what strikes me in this game, while you love the Mavericks, I've bandwagoned your fandom of the Mavericks. It's funny to watch them because Doncic talks a lot and he smiles a lot and laughs a lot and gets frustrated a lot. He's very animated playing basketball, perhaps the most animated guy that I've ever watched. I only realized that this game, but like everything he was talking, laughing, it was weird. I think the Raptors could take a note from his book and relax, play a little bit more comfortable out there, less rigid.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's a show stealer, whether it be with the basketball in his hand or all the celebration. It's weird because, as you said, it's kind of like joyful and a little bit smug at times, but usually just celebrating, doing those things. But it's tough. It's tough going up against a player like him. And the Raptors' defense in this one was something that struck me because we ran some interesting schemes, particularly with switching at the top. And Scotty Barnes ended up on Luka Doncic as he made those drives down the stretch in this one. And I thought he did a decent job on some possessions, particularly the one they highlighted on the broadcast a bunch where he contested in the post very, very well. However, there's an OGs at the end of this one particularly. I'm not diving into that one particularly, just until the segments. But the way that Luka just blows past whoever is guarding him, gets into the lane and then kicks it, then it feels like it's 4-on-2 for the Dallas Mavericks on the backside because you have two people doubling, then you have one person guarding that second pass, and then it's just a mess out there. So I'm surprised the Dallas Mavericks don't have that elite level offense that you'd sort of expect. Obviously, their defense has improved under Kidd, but Riker.
Well, because he hasn't been shooting well, Ben. They were saying that all night long. His all-around stats have been good, but his actual efficiency hasn't been good. And unfortunately, this wasn't one of those games. No. He torched the Raptors. And it's a combination of IQ and footwork because you watch his game. He's not quick. He's just super strong. Yep. But he can get around people because he has elite footwork and understanding of where his body is and what his steps are doing, what he's trying to do when he pulls out moves. But Ben, a lot of the game happened in the fourth quarter and in the closing minutes of the fourth. And my first thought is, what are your thoughts on the execution? Because obviously we typically roll through the box score, but everybody had a little opportunity to seal this game. And I want to hear your thoughts at the onset. What did you like or dislike about the closing moments? Because it was close. It was exciting.
Yeah. Well, Freddie VanVleet has obviously been the guy taken over as the closer, and some people have liked that, some people haven't. He had that big bucket that brought us up within, or gave us the lead. It was, Fred wasn't knocking down his threes tonight. 3 of 15 from the field, probably 2 of 14 at that point. Maybe, I don't know what the numbers were particularly at that moment, but he was missing. He wasn't hitting, and then he comes down and just drills it quickly. A quick release like a gunslinger. Deep 3 over Dwight Powell and splash that home. That was pretty exciting, but other than that, I was disappointed in the fact that we were getting these open looks. I thought the execution in terms of getting the right shots, we were effective. The Mavericks packed the paint. We sort of drove in there. We made the right passes out. We made the right decisions. Obviously, there was a lot of turnovers, not necessarily down the stretch throughout the whole game, but I thought the way we were executing was solid. We just need people to hit shots. And if 1 or 2 more of those shots go down, the Raptors win this game. And it's just annoying, Riker, because we can say the same thing about the Phoenix Suns game where the Raptors played hard, they did their best, they executed well, and then they just couldn't finish off these possessions, right? We obviously couldn't do anything against the Detroit Pistons. We were able to hit a few shots, especially guys coming in on the bench against the Bucks, but then similar story against the Heat and same thing tonight. And this has got a lot of people saying maybe we should trade for another scorer off the bench, and we'll definitely talk about the bench and the Golden Kazoo, but it's tough to critique when you're doing the right things. You just want to see those shots just fall, especially from players that have been hitting as of late.
Yeah, you're right. It was conversion, not execution, except for the actual final 4 or 5 shots of this game was bad shot selection. I guess we'll get to that in the segment span. Run us through the box score, whatever we got to do. This will be an exciting segment piece, though, because, again, all of the action was really in that final couple of minutes of this game.
Yeah, well, Pascal had 28 and 3. From the eye test, it didn't feel like he had the strongest of games, even though he led the way tonight in terms of the numbers. As I mentioned, Fred VanVleet only 18 points, 3 of 15 from the field. You can see the box scores also popping up on the base bar as well, so get the visual going. I thought OG really had the best game for the Toronto Raptors in terms of the starters, 19 points in this one. Precious Achiuwa also played well, took some shots down in the rim. He's been playing better as of late. It's time to get that propaganda rocking, back out and running. It's Precious. He's been good. He's been good. A lot of people are jumping back on the bandwagon, and that's how it goes with younger centers. Scotty Barnes, you'd like to be for him to be more aggressive, right? And he has moments, he has flashes, right? Those fadeaways over Luka Doncic, right? Do more of that, Scotty. Do more of that. And then obviously he's still a rookie holding a lot of responsibility for this team, so he's going to make some rookie mistakes. He's going to struggle, as we saw in the Heat game, as we brought up multiple times this year. But, you want him, if he's going to have the ball in his hands, take on the defensive assignments and stuff, you want to at least see him be a bit more aggressive, right? Not just make those drives and then kind of kick it or swing it. It's a weird situation with Scotty Barnes right now, but the guy that probably impressed me most tonight, Riker, was Chris Boucher. 15 points, 12 rebounds. Not the most efficient night, but he hit a couple of threes, almost saved the day down the stretch, at a clutch steal, a clutch lob, and that's probably a segment itself. But anyone else really you want to dive into before we sound into the segments?
No, I was impressed with the bigs because most of the time I'm saying we're not playing against a very big team. Tonight, opposite. Powell, Porzingis, even Kleba. You have your hands full with the guys that are playing that big man position, that 4 or 5 spot. They're all there under the basket. So they had to fight all night long for those rebounds, and they did a pretty good job. I was impressed with that.
Yep. No, without a doubt. But Riker, let's swing into the segments because there's a lot to talk about during the end of this game. And tonight, the spicy P-lay of the day. I alluded to a couple of them. Fred VanVleet hitting a clutch 3 to bring us up 1. Obviously, then Luka comes back, hits a dirty step back, and spin shots and all that. I like Chris Boucher's, or Fred's lob to Chris Boucher to dunk it home. That was a great play in itself. Fred making some good reads down the stretch in this one. Was there any other ones that really caught your eye? Because there was moments throughout the game. OG had a dunk or two, right? Boucher had some blocks or steals or whatever.
I'm surprised he didn't. Usually we're thinking the same thing. Tonight for me, Scotty Barnes blocked Kristaps Porzingis, Stinky Pinky, who they had a jump ball against one another, and the height disparity was really apparent. Like, you can just, it's moments like that you think, Kristaps, he's really wasting his potential as a basketball player that's that tall to just not be a more imposing interior scorer. But in that jump ball against Scotty looked like a normal-sized human. And then a couple possessions later, he's going up for a layup. Scotty swats him. I thought the refs might call a wonky foul there, but they let it roll, and that was nice to me.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair. Stinky Pinky is a perplexing guy because you see it with the middies. Right? There's a moment, there's a 3-minute stretch in this game where he was just hitting midi after midi, smaller guys shooting over it. So you say, okay, I get it. I get why Porzingis is this. But if he could just mix it with a bit of inside scoring and then also have the stretch, but that's literally the only thing he does. If he's not getting to his mid-range spot, obviously he can space it out from 3 a little bit at times as well. But he doesn't do anything around the rim. He's a big.
But yeah. My thought too is if you don't want to be Giannis, because Giannis is the perfect example of using your height, because he'll just abuse everybody to the point that it doesn't even look fun or enjoyable for fans because it's too easy for him. But if you're not going to go in that direction, at least go Kevin Durant's direction and actually work on your ball handling, right? And be that ball handling guy that you can get past somebody, pull up in the mid range and shoot over anybody. But he's content just to be a spot up guy. It's super weird. Anyways, Ben.
Stinky Pinky.
This is the big one. It ain't fluffy. It's the OGs. Some make you say, "Oh, geez, tonight, Ben. You sound off first. I'll sound off." There's gonna be a lot of these bad boys tonight.
There's a few of these. The one big one is the blatant the Raps announcers were flaming Scotty, and what was he doing on that last defensive possession? We all know Luka Doncic loves that step back. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. Scotty Barnes was up into him, mobile, doing some great decisions. We complained about some of his decision making down the stretch of the Heat game and our previous loss in Miami. And then now Luka Doncic, obviously the first one where he got blown by and the spin and whatever you call it, finger roll, hook. It was a bit of everything from Luka the possession before. You let that slide. That's Luka Doncic. He's making the right plays. But you play good defense. Someone tipped the ball. I'm not sure if it was Scotty or OG. You have it down on the clock. He's 3 feet beyond the three-point line. And maybe Scotty said, nah, no way that's going in. But that's Luka. He literally hit a game winner in the bubble from that spot. He's hit a few from that area. And Scotty's just saying, let him shoot. Let him shoot. What are you doing, Scotty? We could have came back and won this one.
Yeah. That was tough look, Ben. That was going to be my observation on the defensive side. And then on the offensive side, Pascal Siakam, I think he had, not Brunson, Bullock. I think he had Reggie Bullock on him in the post. And he did a couple of spin and pump fakes and then finally got him up in the air. And instead of doing a step through in the key, once he got his shorter defender up in the air, he decided to fade away and miss a gimme like 3 feet from the rim. That would have tied the game. And then the other possession is Fred forced up a 3 at the end. He hit that deep one, but he was shooting very inefficient throughout the game. And then we had a chance to, take the lead or whatever. And he hucked up just a bad 3-pointer. He was kind of fading to the side. Chris Boucher works his butt off to grab the rebound, and then he shoots an ill-advised early shot clock shot when it had just reset and we could have swung the ball around a little bit. There was an opportunity there, and they left it on the board. I was disappointed with those final couple possessions, man.
I don't know. Boucher was 2 from 3. He just hit an alley-oop dunk the possession before. He got the steal. Boucher was going to be the hero in this one, but unfortunately,
That's fair.
It didn't pay off. I don't mind him shooting that because he was completely open. It was a scramble, right? And Boucher is not Boucher without the confidence, and he lost his confidence for a couple of months there, and he was trash. He was kazooing his way to get traded, and now we need Boucher to have that confidence. So I'm happy.
You can put that on a shirt. Boucher ain't Boucher without the confidence, man.
Exactly, right? So I don't mind that. And Fred VanVleet, he's been the guy. He's our all-star. He's our number one option, and he hit the one before, so I don't mind him taking that. But it was ill-advised. I wouldn't mind him because he made a beautiful read because the defense has just been trapping him. If he just went in, did a Luka Doncic-esque play where you drive in and you kick it, you throw the lobs, you do something like that, they were going to, all 5 guys down the stretch of the game were going to collapse on Fred VanVleet at that point. So maybe make a decision like that. That probably would have been smarter, but I guess if he had the room, it almost went down. But unfortunately, it wasn't the night. The shots will start hitting, hopefully sooner rather than later for my 4th seed prediction take. But maybe we're just tanking to play the Bucks. Who really knows? But Ryker, there's we
gotta get back in. Ben, we're 9th or 10th now.
We're 9th or 10th. That's tough, right? We're getting the play-in. We're hoping the Bucks rise higher. That's the play. Because we're going to sweep the Bucks if we ever face them. But, the one, the only, the infamous, it's becoming infamous, the Paul Pierce Golden Kazoo Award of the night. And it's going to something an issue that might creep up. And this might have fed into Scotty Barnes not contesting Luka Doncic because the whole team looked a little bit fatigued out there down the stretch. And 44 minutes for Pascal Siakam. 43 minutes for OG Anunoby, 42 for Fred. Only 28 for Barnes, but 33 for Precious, 34 for Boucher, and Champagne, obviously. Champagne Poppy. Got to give a animation out there.
All right. Yeah.
But 16 for him. No one else getting any bit of run. And Ryker, especially tonight where Fred VanVleet was struggling, the Mavericks have a smaller guard out there for most of the game. I wouldn't mind seeing a Malachi Flynn getting some run. Let him one person, right? Any of them get a 5-minute spurt, see if they can do anything at all, because the Raptors, especially in the regular season, the grind of a regular season, obviously in the playoffs, you're more locked in, you're more ready to go, but with Birch and Gary Trent Jr. out, all these guys playing heavy minutes, I'm worried someone's going to get hurt. We're losing these games, especially we can't execute down the stretch. Fatigue definitely happens. Anyone that's played basketball and it's played 40 minutes or however long your games are, right? Down the stretch, you're playing that whole game. It's tough to stay focused and keep your regularities going if you've been playing that whole time. I don't know. What's the scenario with the bench? Because they have been bad, but I think we got to do something out there with them.
Yeah, even 5 for fouls in his time played, 1 for 4 from the field, and wasn't grabbing the birds we've been accustomed to. But Ben, I've spent my entire amateur career doing this podcast, resisting the word fatigue and being sickened by fatigue as an excuse on back-to-backs for why the Raptors lose games. It's well chronicled, and I flamed the broadcast booth, particularly Leo Routens, who would love to use fatigue as an excuse for a poor game on a back-to-back. But Ben, this is the time I would certainly let it pass. I wholeheartedly agree. If the Raptors start looking lethargic, it'll be because they are. And normally I don't give them that pass because I say not only are they elite athletes, professional athletes that are getting paid to be in performance card, I also believe that basketball is the elite athletic person among other professional sports. You know, I just believe basketball players are among the best athletes out there. But when you're playing 40 minutes every single night, guarding the best players, running around off-ball screens, of course, it's got to catch up to you. So hopefully we'll get some minutes from Flynn. I'm a little bit curious why we're not seeing him. Maybe there's something else going on, or even give Banton another shot. Somebody. We got to get at least a 7th or an 8th man out there playing more than 10 minutes in a game, right? Take a little bit of the time away from Pascal and Fred.
Yeah, because Pascal's been doing everything out there on the court. He was self-proclaimed the new Dennis Rodman. Obviously, he was joking in that interview. But he has been playing an all-around game recently, doing everything out there on the court. But particularly Fred VanVleet, right? Freddie All-Star. Get voted. Get out there on YouTube.
All of your wildest dreams will come true.
But the animations there going. Vote for this guy even in a night where he struggled. But Ryker, it's a tough situation when Fred VanVleet is getting the Steph Curry treatment, where they're all trapping high. As soon as he crosses half court, there's almost 2 guys on him at all times. Obviously, Fred runs the Raptors offense. He's become the Kyle Lowry for this Toronto Raptors team. Everything goes through him, and he's usually guarding one of the better players on the other side himself. Obviously, being a smaller dude, when you're guarding bigger guys, you're constantly hitting people and boxing out and getting those steals. It's a grind for Freddie VanVleet. I'm surprised he's been holding up this well so far, but we got to figure something out. But Ryker, I think we can have a little quick rant in the final 2 minutes, so we'll sound off there.
Woo, 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 woo. Wee, wee, wee.
That's right, the final alarm has gone off. We should be back live for our next video, unless UPS and Apple are lying. The new computer should be coming in tomorrow. But Ryker, any players we could pick up? Anyone catching your eye on the trade market to fill out this bench?
Well, first, did you see the big news about the trade that the 76ers declined by the Sacramento Kings?
Oh, from the Sacramento Kings?
Yeah, so the Sacramento Kings offered Hield, Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, and 2 first-round picks for Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, and they declined it.
They declined that?
They declined dumping their worst contract and Ben Simmons, who's never going to give them another minute of professional basketball, for Halliburton, because I get
Who's
and
better
two
than both of
firsts.
those guys?
Yeah, and Healty would give you probably playoff minutes, and Harrison Barnes, who's still probably one of the best players on their team. He's the bad contract in that, but again, you get to dump Harris. Crazy to reject that. Like, I don't know what Daryl Morey's plan is. Like, I don't know how valued he really thinks Ben Simmons is.
That is nuts. That is a young socialite update. I thought you were talking about the one they offered to the Golden State Warriors, where they obviously have the Ben Simmons socialite going there. But Harris and Ben Simmons and Andre Drummond to Golden State for Kuminga, Wiggins, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, and I believe it was 2 first-round picks as well in that. That's the one the Sixers offered there, but I don't know. That's a huge return. Obviously, you're banking on Kuminga there being nice and all that, but I'm surprised they turned down that deal from the Sacramento Kings.
Halliburton is sweet. Yeah, Halliburton's sweet. He'll give you playoff minutes, 2 first-round picks. Maybe you swallow Harrison Barnes' contract. Maybe he still is pretty good, right? And you dump Tobias Harris and get rid of Ben Simmons. I don't know. It's crazy. But for the Raptors side of things, there's lots of players I'd be interested in, Ben. Mo Bamba, Miles Turner. It'd be nice and a bench scorer, but who knows? Do you have anybody before we sign off?
Tucker on the cheap. Let's get him on the cheap. The Raptors.
I don't want to trade with Lakers. I'll trade a single thing to
Ryker. They just picked up Stanley Johnson. They're loving him. They're loving him on the squad. Let's give him another one of our deep bench wings in the Raptor system to change up the culture before Stanley Johnson. I'm rooting for him to be good.
Fair enough. Well, we shall see, Ben. It's super late for you now. What time is it? Almost 1:30. So
1:10 in the morning. But yeah, we're sounding off on this one. Hopefully we're back live for the next game. I think it's against Portland on Friday night, so we'll have a big celebration.
We can't beat them, Ben. We're in trouble.
Yeah, that would be very unfortunate. Hoping for a nice bounce back game. But subscribe to Raptors Digest. We're almost at 22K subs. That will be huge. We got a little giveaway going for that. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. Check out the merch. Anyways, Ryker, do you have any last words on this game?
No last words, Ben. Cheers.